All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to bring up Dr. Dave Thompson, who is going to do a memorial. If you've been around here anytime, you knew George Edwards. He was a Buffalo soldier. He was also a fixture at these events, and he has folded his wings for the last time, and so we're going to do a little memorial. So wait 1 second, we're going to do that with Dr. Dave.
Okay, there's a picture of George. Can you guys hear me in the back? Okay, thanks. I first met George here at the museum about 8 or 9 years ago and found out that we were from the same hometown, Evansville, Indiana. Are any of George's family here today? If you are, please stand.
Don't be shy.
Thank you for being here. The Buffalo Soldiers date back to the Civil War. There was the 92nd Cavalry and 92nd Infantry units, both black units during the Civil War. After the war, they went to Fort WWII in Arizona, where they fought the Indians, including Geronimo. The Indians started calling them Buffalo Soldiers because their black curly hair reminded them of the buffalo. And even today, the logo for the 92nd is the buffalo. George left Evansville in 1937, went to Fort WWII, joined the Buffalo Soldiers. 1941, after December the 7th, he was stationed here in the Coachella Valley, manning a machine gun nest up in the mountains behind Palm Springs here, guarding the railroad. By 1944, he was fighting in the mountains in northern Italy. Greg, we're going to show a short video about George right now.
In August of 1944, the Buffalo Soldiers arrived in Italy. Ulysses Lee, the official government historian for the employment of Negro troops during World War II, was there.
As the thousands of black fighting men debarked from the crowded troop ships, they presented an impressive and awe-inspiring spectacle. Armed with basic weapons and full-field battle dress, proudly wearing the circular shoulder patch with the black buffalo, they moved smartly and efficiently into their unit formations. As they marched away, every man in step, every weapon in place, chins up and eyes forward, a low rumbling babble of sound came from the troops on the dock, then swelled to a crescendo of thunderous cheering.
The 92nd Infantry battled some of Germany's best trained troops as they fought their way through Italy.
So we stopped in North Africa first, and then we went down into Italy. But we did get a little of the battle in Sicily, and that pulled us out and moved the whole regiment up further north, trying to trap the Germans in that Po area before they got to the Po Valley. And I led the troops at a company.
Okay.
Coming out in the front line, yeah, first lieutenant.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a battlefield promotion. We were out on one of these special island patrols. We were looking for a place on the Chinquale Canal to make the big advance. We were getting near the end of the war. And we were looking for a place in the Chinquale Canal. We were looking for one little spot where we could hide a platoon or maybe two platoons, not two platoons. And I drew that patrol going out there looking for that spot. No guns, but all silent. And the Germans had a patrol looking for, knowing something was going on, because they fired a lot of artillery in that area, and then all of a sudden they stopped. So they sent out a silent patrol. You got your cap on, you don't have a helmet, you got a cap on and a knives. Well, we caught him in a couple of caves, real close. He had a company, so you got about 75 men. That's a lot of men to be wielding knives at people. So you don't know he was bigger than me, but he was a company. He was in charge of patrol just like I was, and everybody split up and started fighting. You take part. And he was bigger than me, and of course I had on heavy clothes, and he was whacking pretty hard, and like I said, straightening out my hair. That's not true but I always say that. Because that knife was going across my head, that's all I could hear. I still hear those that noise every once in a while in my sleep. Ding, 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 and he was cursing in English, calling me some bad names. He knew the Southern language, and he was determined to let me, that I wasn't going to come out, and I was determined I couldn't run. And we just got to swinging, and all of a sudden, this thing, and I grabbed on his ear, and he shook me like how you shake a chicken in the old days? He shook me quite a bit until I got to him, and I hit him, hit him with my knife, and he went down, but he was screaming. But he had 3 children too. That's hurt there. Mm-hmm. 3 little children, and but what do you do? It was just a case of my luck. It was just a case that when I saw that ear go by me, I just grabbed it. I would have grabbed anything. I'd have run if it'd give me a chance. But you can't run like things like that.
This has to be a picture of George and my mother at age 99, Virginia Thompson. George and my mom grew up in the same neighborhood in Evansville. And my mom used to come out every February, and they became really close friends. George attended her 100th birthday out here, by the way. Here's a picture of George's family. He and his wife and their 4 daughters. His wife died at the age of 30 in childbirth. He had to raise these daughters by himself. And a couple of years ago, I gave Chris Demarest this photograph. It's a photo of George and his wife, and it was his favorite photograph. Chris, if you look over in that area, there are a lot of paintings over there, and Chris does those paintings. And I asked him if maybe he could do a painting of this picture.
Thank you, Dave. Are we going to the portrait? Well, thank you. This is really the reason why I've been doing this, which is now going on 6 years. And it started because I saw a photograph of a World War II fighter pilot. The son, I just had to paint it. The son bought it, gave it to his dad, and his dad's reaction was to cry. When I met George through his niece, Cassandra, and had a wonderful conversation. So when Dr. Dave Thompson asked if I would paint the portrait, I said absolutely. They came in one day, excuse me, and I just gave him the portrait, and he teared up. Because, as he said, this is the first time I've seen my wife in all these years. He never remarried. He raised his daughters on his own. They all went to college. So this was our gift to George. I also have, from Cassandra, who's recovering from surgery, a note. She says, "Hello, I am Cassandra Reynolds. Niece of Dr. George Edwards. I want to thank the Palm Springs Air Museum, and especially Dr. Thompson. My uncle was very proud of his military service, having the opportunity to tell his story as an African-American World War II Buffalo soldier with a Purple Heart was not only comforting for him, it allowed him the opportunity to meet with others who had similar experiences. I have to interject that we became Facebook friends, and he always used to sign off as Grumpa, 95-year-old Buffalo soldier. and he would just comment on my artwork. He was just a sweet man. The first place Mr. Edwards took me to in the museum was the second floor library. I appreciate everything Mr. Edwards did for me and my children. He was a father, grandfather, and mentor. When you passed on and you were thought of with more happy memories than sadness and regret, you know that your life had profound purpose and was full of lasting intent. Cassandra Reynolds.
By the way, this picture here is a picture of Cassandra and George and Rusty Burns. George loved these guys. He came to the Tuskegee program pretty much every year, and we'll really miss him. Thank you.
To his family, I would like to say, we will always remember George for one really, really good reason. He had a sense of humor compared to no one else. Always happy, always had something funny to say. You'll notice on his presentation up here that he was humorous. So for that reason, we will always remember George.
Fantastic.